Nigeria's monthly debt servicing spending rises to $112.35 million. Naira appreciates slightly at official window, rises to 462 Naira 73 kobo per dollar, depreciates further at parallel market as Bitcoin slumps on low liquidity. Plus, oil prices fall today as demand fears way. This is Business Express on the network service of the NTA, and we are reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Benny Adams, your guide. It's time to talk business as we bring you details of transactions across the world. We'll start by telling you that the federal government spent $112.35 million for servicing of external debt in January 2023. Latest data from the Central Bank of Nigeria weekly international payments show that the amount spent in January was 146.17% higher than $45.64 million spent in December 2022. This occurred as the federal government struggled to boost its revenue base despite its revenue generation efforts. The Federation Account Allocation Committee shared 750.17 billion naira among the three tiers of government in January 2023. The figure represents a decrease of 240.02 billion naira compared to 990.19 billion naira shared in December 2022. In 2022, Nigeria spent $2.4 billion to service its external debt, which was a slight increase from the $2.11 billion spent in 2021. The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASN, is urging the incoming administration to fast-track the implementation of different sections of the Petroleum Industry Act for the benefit of Nigerians. PENGASN President Festus Osifo says aggressive implementation of the PIA will not only further deepen the development of the midstream sector of the Nigerian oil sector and the gas industry, but also lead to the provision of gas infrastructure in the country. Lydia Sampson reports.
The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association pledged to continue to lend its voice and support to policies that will put the nation's oil and gas sector in good shape to enable it compete with its peers in other parts of the world. As key players in the oil and gas, the association applauded ongoing rehabilitation of refineries. They commended the NNPC Limited management for the bold steps towards what they call a workable approach to bringing back on stream the ailing refineries. The association, however, advocate for the adoption of a robust system of governance and successful model in the operation of the nation's four refineries when fully revamped. They hoped with the Dangote refinery coming on board, there will be significant impact on the fuel supply dynamics, including easing pressure on the economy.
The incoming government must do all within its reach to see to the conclusion of the current rehabilitation effort and initiatives that is currently in place so that our nation's refinery will come up in no time.
Zainab Gobe commended the oil and gas industry for the inclusive gender policies. She urged Nigerian oil and gas workers to strive to upturn the negative image given Nigeria by a few bad persons by showcasing the larger good.
We may be very familiar with our day-to-day routines. However, there are more responsibilities on our shoulders that we can imagine. We have to continuously look above and beyond the possibilities of what we can do for the nation.
There were goodwill messages, including from the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi.
in a country like Nigeria, where there's vast, fertile land. And he mentioned 3 states that is going to be mostly affected. And Israel is doing food export, and these people can't feed themselves. That is what is wrong, and that is what we must fix.
Agriculture is crucial to economic growth as it accounts for 4% of global gross domestic product, that is the GDP. And in some least developing countries, it can account for more than 25% of GDP. Experts across the globe agree that growth in the agriculture sector is 2 to 4 times more effective in raising incomes among the poorest compared to other sectors. As Nigeria welcomes a new government in a few weeks, our guests will be telling us what kind of attention government should pay in giving this all-important sector. He is also an entrepreneur as well as agricultural analyst. He joins us virtually from Lagos. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Well, on Business Express today, we are setting an agenda for the incoming government and looking at various sectors. Let's talk about agriculture sector. What type of attention do you think this sector should be receiving in this coming administration? You can also remember that the outgoing administration has done a whole lot, particularly in the Anchor Borrowers Program. That is a reference point we keep going back to. What should we build on from here?
Okay, for me, I think we can still go ahead to actually do enough, and the incoming administration should intensify more effort into production of foods locally, and we know our staple crops, and empowering farmers with what they need to actually produce, such as we need to actually scale. As a matter of fact, government can be able to clear more lands for farmers to be able to engage more and crop more at scale, and also making inputs available. And this is not to say there have always been inputs, but inputs like fertilizers, we need to actually pay more attention, because into this fertilizers and many other agricultural inputs that can actually help our farmers to actually grow optimally. And the second point I would also say that the government should pay more attention on is to incorporate latest technology into the field of agriculture. How can we actually leverage on technology to help our farmers scale? How can we actually help our farmers with technology that will help them to be able to perform their tasks more efficiently? On the field of production, how can we ensure that they have what they need and farming optimally and most efficiently, so that we can actually get the right productivity? Okay, we have a large area of land in Nigeria, but our productivity is quite low as compared to global average. And this is actually what we need to pay attention. We need to actually do more. Or get more from our less, and that is CMIing on productivity, focusing on productivity through research, which is very, very important, and also through practice. Productivity can be enhanced with technology and other efficient resources backed up by research. So, yeah, I think that was fine.
Okay, Mr. Adekoya, you mentioned getting more from less, and that you would agree has to do with knowledge. And you also mentioned technology. How do we bring in this knowledge area as well as technology into fine-tuning and getting better productivity from what is already on ground now?
All right, that question is very, very important. You mentioned knowledge. Yes, and when we talk about knowledge, we're talking about knowledge sharing through extension practices. How can we actually distill knowledge? How can we actually bring technologies that we're talking about here, and a lot of technologies that we can actually bring into the space. tractors, obviously, digital technology such as drone technology, digital technology such as platforms to enhance trade, are actually very, very important. And now talking about knowledge, we can be able to leverage on ICT. That's the information communication technologies. We can leverage on ICTs, empowering these farmers with knowledge that they need. Perhaps in their production, a step-by-step guide that would allow them to produce more. And why not jettisoning their traditional knowledge? How can we actually combine it together and ensure that they be able to get a higher productivity from their investments, or in terms of time, their efforts, their labor, and all that.
Okay, earlier too, you mentioned fertilizer as part of key inputs. You also agree with me that the price of that commodity in the market keeps it's on the rise. And you're in Lagos. Can you tell us a bit of the role Dangote fertilizer blending plant is playing to ensure that we have more supply of this commodity to get to crash the prices?
Okay, so as for Dangote fertilizer in particular, we are actually happy that the new brand of fertilizer is actually added to the brands that we've been seeing that since last year. However, in terms of pricing, there's not, let me say, at the end of the chain, okay, at the end of the chain to which we play, there's not really difference in terms of the pricing. I can say that more increase, like increase in fertilizer availability, of course. However, in terms of the pricing, it's still not yet balanced yet. And this is actually not to say Dangote are actually hiking the price, but perhaps if they actually need government intervention too to actually help them, to help the farmers. Dangote fertilizer or refinery is a business. So I think there's a whole lot we need to consider in that regard. So this is where government are playing in perhaps subsidizing not, but to get to the farmers. I mean, farmers enjoying the impact of the subsidy, all right? I think that would really do a bit of help for us. And I'm looking forward in the 2023 cropping season. Some companies have been able to a little bit crash their price. I mean, make it go down a little bit. But we need more because the price increase within 1 year is more than 50%. I don't want to say on but average of 50%, which is not really good for our agribusiness. Yeah.
Okay, there's been a lot of funding for agriculture. Agricultural sector gets a lot of funding after every year's budget, but that seems not to be enough. And government has also moved ahead to say the policy on agricultural extension has actually come to stay, using technology to drive the agriculture. With this extension policy, what else do you think government funding should go into in this sector to ensure better productivity?
Okay, there's always been saying about government funding, which is true, and thanks to the CBN for the efforts they are playing, particularly highlighting the Anchor Borrowers program, particularly on rice value chain and others. So we need to actually focus on making this funding get into the hands of the smallholders, which actually produce majority of our food. Or perhaps it might not necessarily be in cash, but to actually, in terms of the impact it makes on their business, perhaps in cost reduction, production costs. How can we actually see the impact in our production costs as farmers, ourselves in the field? How can we, our agrochemicals or agro inputs to which we use, can we be able to channel the funding, to subsidize and make us to be able to get more of it and use them optimally to actually better our production? So I think we also need to actually put funding when it comes to extension. extension, that is knowledge, latest technology in the space need to actually be brought in. Technologies, this might not be really complex, but technologies that can actually help farmers to be able to till their soil more easily. Irrigation. This is very, very important. We need to actually also focus on irrigation, because we know climate change is actually a serious case, and one of the ways that it's impacting farmers is actually in terms of precipitation quantity. So how can we actually help farmers with irrigation so that our agricultural production can be efficient, and at the end of the day we can achieve productivity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Femi Adekoya, for your thoughts as we look forward to better productivity in the agricultural sector.
Thank you.
Moving on, Angola has now emerged the topmost crude oil producer in Africa, upstaging Nigeria as the latter's output level hits a new low. The Director of Communication data in the April 2023 monthly oil market report of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, shows that Angola recorded 1.06 million barrels per day crude production in April 2023. Despite the initial optimism, Nigeria's oil output dropped 23% month-on-month to 999 million barrels per day in April 2023, from 1.3 million barrels per day in the preceding month of March 2023. Also, on a year-on-year basis, Nigeria's output level indicated a drop of 16.7% to 999 million barrels per day in April 2023, from 1.2 million barrels per day recorded in the corresponding period of 2022. Still from the energy markets, oil prices slipped this Friday, heading for a fourth weekly decline as renewed economic concerns in the United States and China revived concern about fuel demand growth in the world's two largest oil consumers. Brent crude futures fell 43 cents to $74.55 a barrel. West Texas Intermediate U.S. crude futures were down 33 cents to $70.54. Both benchmarks are set to fall by more than 1% for the week, which would be the longest streak of weekly decline since November 2021. Let's see how much other commodities are trading in the global market. Meanwhile, the Standards Organization of Nigeria has launched Product Authentication Mark (PAM) to curb the influx of substandard imported goods into the country. Director General of the organization, Farouk Salim, says PAM was specifically developed to increase consumers' confidence, profitability, and market share. Ifoma Omesa reports.
The product authentication mark is conceived to empower consumers in taking informed decisions on the genuineness of SON regulated products at the point of purchase. The one-day sensitization forum on product authentication mark brought together captains of industry, paramilitary and civil society organizations to chart a way forward on how to champion the cause of blocking channels of fake substandard products in Nigeria. Director General SON Malam Farouk Salim notes that security feature stickers have been created, adding that when fully in use, it will address the prevailing challenges resulting from dishonesty on the part of fraudulent importers and manufacturers of products.
What we are going to start campaigning is individuals who look for that sticker and they should use their phones to find out if that thing is original before they buy. We have a slogan, palm it before you buy it.
So we are bringing this mark so that they will be put on product that we have certified, so that me and you, when we are buying, we are sure that we are buying the right products.
Substandard products have thrived in Nigeria because people did not have means of authenticating the genuinity of those products.
Some participants speak on their takeaways from the program.
With palm, we can compete with anybody, provided that that product meets with standard production process.
It's very sinful something that is not good. And if you find out, they will not eat it.
Palm is an initiative to promote consumer safety, value for money, product competitiveness, as well as ensuring level playing field for locally manufactured and imported products in Nigeria. In Port Harcourt, Ifoma Umisa.
And now looking at transactions in the stock market, stocks clawed back Friday after profit-taking took the Nigerian Stock Exchange down for 2 straight weeks, talking about a negative trade in the equities. After the close of trade this Friday, the all-share index recorded a marginal gain of 0.1% to end the week at 52,214.62 basis points, while the volume of trade settled at 1.417 billion, valued at 10.98 billion naira in 5,527 deals. Equity capitalization in the week is ending 28.431 trillion naira. Fidelity Bank, Access Holdings PLC and FBN Holdings were the most sought after stocks. And from there, we'll take a look at the global market, how the markets are on the global scene.
Asia-Pacific markets traded mixed after the U.S. posted more data that showed inflation was easing. In mainland China, the Shanghai Composite fell 1.12% and closed at 3,272.36. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index also fell 0.59% ahead of its first quarter GDP figures, while Japan's Nikkei 225 bucked the regional trend and rose 0.9%, closing at 29,388. European stock markets were higher in early trading despite a bearish week so far, as investors assess the state of play across first quarter earnings and economic data. The DAX in Germany was up 0.49%, UK's FTSE rose 0.29%, and the French CAC topped 0.84%. U.S. stock futures advanced in early trading as regional banks rebounded and traders tried to end a volatile week on a high note. The Dow Jones Industrial Average futures and S&P 500 both rose 0.39%, while the Nasdaq 100 climbed 0.22%. African stocks traded in opposite directions this Friday. South Africa's JSE Africa 40, Namibia's overall index, and Ghana's GSE Composite were stocks in green, while Tunisia's Stone Index and Kenya's Nairobi Oil Share pointed downwards.
Naira recorded a marginal appreciation of 0.04% against the US dollar at investors and exports window to close at 462 Naira 73 kobo to a dollar on Thursday, compared to the closing rate of 463 Naira 2 kobo it recorded on Wednesday. Let's see the official exchange rate this Friday. And that concludes Business Express for today. Business Express returns next week, same time.